I want to commemorate a very special man in my life, one whom had immense impact on both of my successes and my failures. This person, my father, John Jack Beryl Greelis, 1909 to 1985. Father, after finishing high school, entered college to obtain a degree in chemistry. During summer months, he worked as a busboy and a waiter's aide in the hotels located in Yellowstone Park. He was young, and in the late 1920s and early 1930s, America's economy was strong, allowing joyful entertainment for all those with money. He often stated in subsequent years, Yellowstone was the highlight of his life. One could only imagine the excitement for a young man feeding the bears, dancing with the girls, and playing tennis with the wealthiest of society in the Yellowstone Park environment. He finished college in 1932 with his chemistry degree, got married the same year. Now he was 23 years old. I must admit, Father and I hardly ever saw eye to eye on hardly anything. I recall a time when I was about 7 or 8, an episode that portrayed this relationship. Father bought old model Fords that were built from around 1927 to 31, 10 to 14 years before World War II started. This incident being around 1942 or 43, when new automobiles were no longer being built during those war years. People had to buy what was already available on the road. Father would buy these used Model A's, repaint them, and fix them up for resale. On this one summer evening after supper, he went out to work on one of these cars. I can recall myself sitting in the driver's seat while he was busy working on the motor. He was replacing the heater hoses. I was watching his work from inside the car. He cut some twine off of a spool and was tying the twine to the heater hoses to keep it away from the motor. Possibly he was having some problems. Now I jumped down out of the car and informed him he was doing it all wrong. I told him that's not the way Ford did it. I do not know which nerve was severely damaged, but I got a few coarse words and a slap on the butt and sent in the house. Now, Father's not being elevated for his intolerance of me, my behavior possibly being a thorn in his side. Instead, for what he did and completed after a dreadful event happened to the family. It was early spring. April 3rd, 1947, we lost our mother, and my dad losing his wife. We all took her death very hard. She was a very young woman of 33 years old and pregnant with a set of twins. The two babies were too premature to survive with the 1947 medical capabilities. Father made a pledge to our mother that he would keep the whole family together and raise all of us four to adulthood. Now, this may seem trivial, especially in today's world. However, Father was challenged at least 2 occasions with ladies wanting to marry him, but only with the condition, after either finding another home for all of us or just a few of his children. He steadfast to his promise to our mother and to his only wife never marrying again and raising all of us children to adult life. My mother's sister, our Aunt Martha, whom was divorced, raising 3 girls, worked midnight shifts at the same hospital where my mother was for 45 days. They bonded together more tightly and Mother asked her to help my father when she could. We went through a series of housekeepers. We stressed them out to their limits. We were teenagers and almost out of control. Some housekeepers could cook and some were terrible. Remembering my father stating, "I can't believe anyone could not make oatmeal." We started going over to our Aunt Martha's house on Sundays for dinner. She was an excellent cook, and Father loved good cooking. Now, Father had a job with the railroad, and he switched jobs, losing all his seniority with the previous position. A recession came, and the railroad had to downsize, and Father lost his job. Here he was with 4 children, a house mortgage, and no jobs available. Father's degree in chemistry, but no jobs were available for chemists when he graduated, and that was 16 years past. He became very depressed and concerned for both his and our future. The housekeeper was the first to go, and many other household elements were reduced to a minimum, some foods included. Now our Aunt Martha came to the rescue for the family. Going to the owners of the railroad, friends of her father, that's our grandfather, and pleaded for a job for my dad. He agreed to a position that was currently open for electrical engineer. The position required the person to hold electrician certification and a license. Father hit the books, studied both day and night, taking the battery of tests to become licensed. He received his license and went back to work for the railroad. He was 40 years old now, still a single man with 4 children in his family. Father had a hobby of raising fantail pigeons, to show for ribbons and trophies. This hobby became jeopardized within the city limits by neighbors complaining about the odors and some critters such as raccoons, rats, mice, and so forth associated with the food that was being supplied to the birds. Plus, he had a desire to fly homing pigeons, such as worldwide clubs holding pigeon races and offering prizes. He could see this would just be another problem for the neighbors, with birds landing on their roofs and so forth. It was time to consider moving to the country. Our Aunt Martha moved in with us after the housekeeper left. We now have 9 people living in a 3-bedroom house. My aunt was to provide the food, my father everything else in the house. Both parents disciplined their own children and was responsible for their upkeep, such as clothes, school, medical, and so forth. But the hunt started to move to the country, and within a year we all became farmers. Father started the Northeast Homer Racing Club, and he was raising his pigeons. We children of the 2 families lived a good life on the farm, and both Aunt Martha and Father stayed together even after all the children left the roost. My Aunt Martha died in the first week of June in 1985, and Father just a few weeks later. So why should I commemorate my father? What makes him so special to receive an award for his past experiences? I was also a father of 4. So why was his achievement so different than mine to receive this award? He went to college and got a degree. However, the Great Depression happened. Nobody could find work. He took a job as a bus mechanic, changing tires and so forth to feed his growing family. He lost his wife at a young age, vowing to keep his children together until adulthood, passing up opportunities to start a new married life. He was still quite young and good-looking. He lost his job, needing to change career fields, by studying and qualifying as an electrical engineer, then adding another family to his household, eventually moving the two families to a farm, founding a club of pigeon members to raise their homing pigeons. But still, I am sure other men had similar experiences. What really stands out? It's because of his commitment to his deceased and only spouse, his determination to us children, raising us all together, for all the other opportunities he lost. I'm commemorating him to the highest level, bestowing him with my deepest heart and a song titled The Living Years.